Hey, what's up, guys? Let's check out this game by the great world champion Alexander Alekhine. In this game, he had the white pieces and he played d4. His opponent played d5, and here he played knight f3. After e6, he played e3, so very conservative, very solid so far. Black plays knight f6, and he simply develops with bishop d3. You'll notice this is a very aggressive square for the bishop, pointed at the king side. Black plays knight bd7, and after knight bd2, bishop d6. Here, a lot of chess players would play either castles or c3 would be a common move. Other moves you might consider here if you were playing with white would be something like b3 to play bishop b2, possibly. But Alekhine notices something about the development of this bishop to d6. And that is that there's the possibility of a pawn fork on e5, which is going to cause black to yield the center. And so he plays the move e4. Now I say yield the center because he's going to have to exchange off this pawn if he doesn't want the pawn to arrive on the e5 square with a devastating fork or even just gaining space. But after takes, knight takes, bishop takes, you can see the center of the board now. White is occupying d4 and is occupying e4, and this just gives him a pleasant central control for operations in the game. 0-0 was played by black. It may have been preferable first to play knight f6, winning a tempo off this bishop. Of course, black could play bishop g5 to pin the knight, which is almost certainly what Alekhine would have done, but this would have been a better placement for this knight, offering more defense to the king side rather than castling right away. Black castled right away. And so a lot of chess players who have seen the Greek gift right now might be thinking, well, does it work? There's no knight on f6 that defends. So what if we were to just try bishop takes h7 check? It looks pretty juicy. If king captures, then we can follow up with knight g5, the classic Greek gift. And if the king were to run away, for instance, to, let's say, king g6 is a square a lot of chess players would expect, then after something like maybe queen g4, or perhaps even h4 to hold the knight first would be better. Yeah, white, I don't think white is getting the typical checkmates here. There's time for the black king to run away. For instance, king f6, and now what, you might ask? You know, if queen f3, then the king gets away, and there's no spicy checkmates like you might be used to in the Greek gift. Yeah. Of course, if the king were to go to g8, well, then white's normal idea of playing queen h5 and checkmate on h7 would run into knight f6. Simply holding the h7 square, buying a tempo off from the queen, and refuting the entire idea. So the Greek gift here would not work for those reasons. So instead, Alekhine plays bishop g5, a really interesting move, developing and attacking the queen. f6 is a move that looks very ugly to play, weakening the e6 square, taking the square away that would be the natural square for the knight. And so the move queen e8 seems quite logical, moving the queen off from the square where it was attacked. Okay, after 0-0, here black has a few different moves you might think of. Something like h6 to make this bishop go away seems logical. Here black plays f5 though, which is an unusual move, and it makes me think that black maybe was worried about this sacrifice on h7 and decided to simply close out that possibility entirely. After bishop d3, here is a crucial moment in the game. What would you play if you were black? Well, black has a few good moves. I mean, again, just pawn h6, attacking the bishop, making the bishop run away. And then continuing with something like, okay, maybe b6 and who knows, bishop b7. And now all of black's pieces are developed, and this weakness on e6 is made up for by the fact that these bishops are very, very nice, pointed at white's king. Okay. h6 is not what black played, though. Black could have also played perhaps b6 just right away, with the same idea, developing the bishop to b7. However, black tried for something a little bit more and played this move e5, almost trying to repay white with the same coin, noticing now that there's the possibility of a pawn fork on e4. However, this just doesn't work for tactical reasons because the queen is now on the e-file, and so when the e-file comes, open, it will rook e1 will be a threat, pinning things to the queen. So this is actually a terribly weakening move. Alekhine doesn't hesitate; he captures, and after knight takes e5, here he plays the move rook e1, simply pinning the knight to the queen. Here, black's best option is to exchange off these knights. It's important to notice this comes with check, so white doesn't have time to grab the queen. And after queen takes f3, the queen could simply, I don't know, come to f7 maybe. And now everything is slightly better for white just because, okay, obviously these bishops are developed and things are looking nice, but there's no immediate crushing attack. Black is not immediately losing a ton of material. However, in the game, black decided to move off from the e-file and create a pin of his own, pinning the knight to the queen. This seems like a really good move because now this knight is pinned and, black has some threats. Knight takes f3, queen takes f3, and then queen takes bishop. That would be 1, for instance. If knight takes f3, if queen takes f3, then queen takes bishop. Looks pretty good. How did white respond to this? Well, he decided to play knight takes knight. And in fact, this creates quite a few problems for black. The first is, okay, the queens now are staring at one another, but white's queen is defended. If black were to capture white's queen on d1, white could actually step over here to c4 with a little check first, pushing the king into the corner, and then play ra x d1. Now this creates some threats. So after bishop takes, rook takes, well, what am I saying, threats? It's just a free piece. And now, of course, rook d8 could be coming, rook to the 7th is coming, the bishops are trained on black's king side, so white would just be winning. So queen takes queen not possible after knight takes e5. What else could black do? Well, you might think, what about bishop takes e5? It seems like a logical move, but for the fact that this queen is undefended, so queen takes queen is just going to be white's response there. And then that brings us, I guess, to the move that was played in the game, queen takes g5. And so I'm certain that black saw this ahead of time and thought that here everything was okay. Same number of pawns, 2 minor pieces each. The material seems stable. But what he likely missed was this check bishop c4, which creates, after king h8, a number of threats. If you want to pause here and guess, what did Alekhine play? This is a good moment to try to calculate. It's white to move. All right, so a lot of you probably noticed that knight f7 is a very strong move. It forks the king and the queen, and if black doesn't want to lose the queen, then black is going to have to give up the rook with rx f7, and after bishop takes f7, then white will have won the exchange, and of course still have control of the open files, and for sure white has a nice advantage here. However, there's something even stronger than knight f7. It is the incredible move queen takes d6. queen takes d6 is what was played in the game. And now you might be wondering, wait a second, can't the pawn just capture the queen? It could, but now knight f7 check is much stronger, and here's why. If the rook takes this time, then white will not take back, but instead will play the move rook e8 check. Black is obliged to block, and rx f8 would be checkmate. And so this move, queen takes d6, it just completely blasts apart all of black's defenses. Notice the queen is threatening queen takes rook checkmate. Pawn takes queen is not possible. And there's really no good moves for black here. I mean, black has already lost a piece. If he were to, I don't know, try to go over here, then we wouldn't even bother taking the rook. We'd just play knight f7 mate. And if the rook were to go elsewhere, for instance, anywhere really, then we would have another check here. And this time, if we take the queen, well, we don't even, what am I saying? We don't even have to take the queen. We have rook takes e8 checkmate. Well, in any case, you can see that this move, queen takes d6, is just absolutely crushing. Not the kind of move that, honestly, I don't think I would ever see. I don't think I would ever even contemplate it, but it wins. All right, that was an incredible idea there. I hope you guys enjoyed this game as much as I did.